All right, and welcome back to another special episode of We Listen to Music and Talk About It. I'm Ersan, and I'm here with Serge.
You.
What's going on, man? How are you?
What's going on, man?
Nothing much. Still in Florida, and trying to get into the groove. We listened to Nirvana's EP.
That was pretty good.
That was good.
It was really good.
Not too bad. So I figured let's just do it again. But this time we're going to be looking at and listening to Nirvana's first album, Bleach, released on June 15th, if I recall, 1989, which is cool because I would have been, there's 31 days in May, so I would have been 18 days old at the release of this album.
That's crazy, man.
So not too bad.
Was that what year?
89.
All right. Would have been 7.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. So if I was in my grunge phase at that point, I would have had to have picked it up within 18 to 20 days.
Makes sense.
So not too bad. Not too bad. First album, Bleach. 30. We're listening to the original release, which is about 37 minutes long. So let's just dive right into it, man.
All right.
Yeah. Start off with Blue. Ooh, heavy bass.
Yeah, man. I like the way they always fucking make it sound like it's not perfect.
Right.
So it's like you heard the screech like.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it was like fuck it, we just keep going. Don't stop. You know?
Yeah. It's bad boy, baby.
Yeah.
Can't stop. Won't stop. You were saying something about this first album cost them $606
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
17
saying.
cents.
Yeah. I'll check that on Apple Music.
Right.
That's
Interesting.
what it said about them. It's like doing it here. Like,
Right.
You know, they probably did it at home and the garage, you know, because most of Seattle shit that motherfuckers probably in their own garage, you know what I mean? A lot of grunge music, that's where it starts.
Right. You know, I feel like in the 80s, especially when I watch movies from back in the 80s or TV shows from back in the 80s, they talk a lot about making a garage band or a band and playing out of the garage and stuff like that. So it kind of rings true because it's still in the 80s. This was probably recorded 87, 88 or something like that. So it's still got that vibe, you know?
Yeah. Maybe the garage, so it keeps you out the rain, but you're not in the house.
Right.
You know? So,
Still noisy though.
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's what I like about older music, you know, like, you know, they kept it between 2 and 3 minutes, you know what I mean? It's like, there's no fluff, you know, it's music, you know? Now it's just like, you gotta, before you get to the song, it's like a 50 second, you know, like prologue, you know, like, and like everything's gotta be a movie now, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you know, it's, I think for today's music, it's a lot of like, we drop like 500K on the album, you know?
Yeah.
We're dropping like...
It's just stupid too, because like, y'all taking out these advances, y'all getting all this extra shit made. That comes out your pocket, you know? Like, like if you got a good album, music usually speaks for itself. You know, like back in the day, I don't know, I feel like they really didn't make bad albums back in the day because you had to buy a CD, you know, you had to buy a tape. You had to buy the whole album. You couldn't just buy the single, you know, or download the single.
Right.
So
you had to purchase the vinyl. You had to get the tape. This one is
Floyd
Floyd the Barber. Let's see what happens with Floyd. And how good of a barber is he?
He's like a little off the top. Nah, that's fucked up. That's fucked up. Nah.
You know what I like about this sort of era of music? And it might still be happening now, but, you know, just for argument's sake, there's A-sides and B-sides potentially. There's unreleased songs that are eventually released on maybe just the CD version. At this point, it would have just been called a compact disc, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know if 8 tracks were still around at this time. But
right now we're in probably the tape era. I don't think we got the CDs yet.
No CDs proper. So we probably have tapes and we probably have vinyl that is still out. Yeah.
They're trying to bring vinyl back.
It's back.
But the shit is so expensive. Like
yeah.
You can't buy an album on a vinyl pretty much. You got to buy singles. You know, like 3 songs.
It's interesting. It's with the so Serge and I were talking about this because while I've been in Florida, one of the things that I've been doing is going to video game stores just to kind of like see what's going on. Retro game stores. Nostalgia is a killer.
Yeah, it really is.
And it's a killer for your pocket.
Yeah. I don't understand. Like, so when we first got to that first one, that little kid was spending his money. That was his money.
Yeah.
He said he was buying. What was he buying? Was he buying a Dreamcast?
Well, we went the most recent one that we went to, right?
No, the first one we went to.
Oh, the one with the dude from Bronx.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was trying to buy. Oh, he
bought a system.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He bought a system, and I'm pretty sure he was either a Dreamcast or something along those lines.
Yeah.
Well, the little kid today was trying to buy Dreamcast.
Oh, was he?
If you remember.
I don't know. He was like, he knew what he wanted, but I don't know. I feel like the dad was trying to please him. Right. But like he was like kind of lost in the sauce. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because he hears this. He hears like probably Sega Dreamcast. Oh, Sega Dreamcast. This one's about a girl. This is a well-known song. But he may not have the proper direction as to what the system is. Maybe he'll come to the realization, oh, wow, video games back then
they're not the same.
Do not look like games today.
Yeah. I mean, I remember like I had a Sega CD, and you were pretty much just watching a movie. You weren't really playing. Like it had his game, but the game was super pixelated, but the video looked clear. Like with it,
right?
I remember there's like a air pilot game simulator, something like that. Like it was actual video of like the guy, like a story, and then it was fucking when you play the game, and it's
all polygons and shit like that.
So,
but see, at that point, that was advanced.
Yeah. Yeah, but now that your eyes have corrected into 4K and 8K, it's like I can't. I remember I put on a fucking PlayStation. No, was it PlayStation? I think it was PlayStation or no, it's playing Daytona USA.
Right. Ooh.
And it's like it drove so hard, like like it's like you were a stick and you had to drive a stick. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I don't remember it being like that. I feel like it used to be so smooth and look so clear and crisp and like whoa. And now it's like, oh my god, my head hurts.
Right. Yeah, because you're looking at the polygons, all the colors, just like it looks harsh. It hasn't been like properly blended because at that point they're releasing the game in full. But now you have DLC. So you can release a game that's 40% done and say, oh, we could patch it up and then we can release DLCs. And it's like, you weren't doing that.
No.
You were getting the quote unquote completed game back then. Which was, I guess.
But now games they're so big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
they take up more memory.
Yeah. Everything's open world, so you gotta save all that space. It's like, oh my god,
When I was playing GTA 5 for the PS3, I have the 20 gig. So
did you pay for the PS4 too, the PS5?
No.
I think they really re-releasing it again. Like,
they should if they want. It's still a good game and still making money.
I don't understand how GTA has made so much money off of this one game. I mean, I understand it's a good game, but it's like, my nigga, like, what about 6?
Right.
You guys could have probably been on GTA 10 right now.
Right.
Like that's kind of shitty to do to the customer. You know what I mean? Like the new PlayStation comes out, is like, or the new Xbox comes out, is like, oh, get the new GTA updates.
Right. That's what it is.
They usually just say the new GTA, but it's like it's the same exact game.
Right. Right.
So
this one is School. I think it's called. But see, the thing is that now it's online.
Yeah. So
people are still playing the online version because the servers are still up.
Yeah, it still feels like they're just ripping people
off.
They are.
Because if it's a money-making machine, why stop?
Yeah.
And a game like LA Noire, when we were talking in the car about the guy that his infantry or whatever.
Yeah.
They shot him so that this way they wouldn't have to like deal with his issues and like his indecisiveness or lack of good decision. LA Noire took 10 years to make because it was using motion capture. It was using the faces imprinted on the characters and even NPCs and stuff like that. That took 10 years to make.
That's shit too. You spend 10 years building the game, and you're going, and then you find a new technology. Is like you're never done because you know you put out a product that you've been doing for 10 years. So like you got a lot of old fucking technology in the shit too. So it's tough, man. I don't know because like technology is like that now. You know, like we got 8K. The minute I buy an 8K TV is when they get like, oh, we got 10K TVs.
Of course,
you got 12Ks coming out. You know,
it's because they want to bleed you dry. Mm-hmm. It's kind of fitting that we're having a conversation like this because Nirvana was known as, they're pretty much known as like they're the music first type of dudes, and they're not really trying to like upsell anything. They're just trying to release music, which it kind of shows in this album. They're just playing their songs, you know.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't do that anymore. You know, and even basketball players. It's about the contract first.
It is about the contract.
I mean, I get the getting the contract to get in.
Yeah.
But
gotta get the back,
then they're like, nah, I want the sneak deal too. I want this deal. I want this deal. You know what I mean? It's like, but they'll go and they'll drop 10 points. You know what I mean?
No, I mean.
So it's like.
You go on the hype.
Yeah.
You know, Zion Williamson came in.
It sucks.
Hype.
Sucks.
But because of his weight issues and his foot issue, I think he's only played like in 3 seasons because he came into the same league as RJ Barrett, who plays for the New York Knicks. RJ Barrett just completed his 3rd season with the New York Knicks, and he's already played more games than Zion Williamson, and they were teammates in Duke.
Oh, for real?
So because of his weight issues, because of this one is called Love Buzz. So because of his weight issues, he came in already with the shoe deal.
Man, for real?
Yeah, he came in as the #1 pick. He came in freshly touted out of Duke, a monster out of Duke. Already had a shoe deal signed the moment that he got out of college.
That's insane, man.
And that's what happens, you know. Shaq, he famously said, I haven't spent any of my NBA money. It's all been my sponsorships and my dealership, my deals.
When he first started, he said he made a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah, he did. At one point early on, because, you know,
he was young.
He was young.
Yeah. I get it.
He was highly touted out of LSU.
Yeah. He's like, I spent so much money, and now, you know. But now he's got Papa John's.
Now he's got Papa John's. He's got the General.
Ben Gay, right? Not Ben Gay. What's it called?
I think it might be Ben Gay.
It's like Icy Hot.
Icy Hot, right. Icy Hot. He also has Irish Spring or something like the other one. It's not Irish Spring. It's the it's that dude. Remember that dude?
Oh,
those commercials. Spice, something Spice.
Yeah. Old Spice.
Yeah, Old Spice. I think he also does Old Spice stuff too.
Yeah.
So, you know,
he's not getting. I think he's gotten a lot smarter with the being in the franchise thing.
He's a franchise.
I think he's like, nah, I want this money, but I also want. He probably gets percentages and stuff. He probably doesn't just get the general. He's probably not just getting a check from the general. He's probably like getting he probably owns some of the general now. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy, man.
I think he either talks about wanting to invest in or investing in Ring Camera too. So he was one of the first investors and stuff like that.
Invested in Ring Camera.
Really?
I think he put $4 million in, something like that. It was something like that, and then it's like now it's worth $40 million.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That he's worth. Or $400 million. It's some crazy that's like that. Like he put a lot of money in, but he could afford to invest in it. Right. But then his return was crazy.
Sure. But it's a gamble, bro.
Yeah, but I think that's why he doesn't really make music like he's that's why I don't think he comes out with new albums. You know, right? It's like because I wouldn't. I'll be honest with you. If I had that kind of money, nah, I'm not working. I'm not. Yeah, I get it. Like he's one of the hottest lyricists out there, but nah, I'm from the hood, nigga. Like, why the fuck struggle? Like, why the fuck stress out about an album? You know, like, I'm good. If I do it in my spare time, like Jory Lawrence. You know what I mean?
Right.
I do it because I'm bored and I'm hanging with my friends, and we just, I'm with Dre. He got a beat, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'm spit a verse, But to be like, I gotta come out with an album, like, cool.
Right. See, I think about this sometimes, and I'm like, so we'll use Nas in this case.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm Nas, and I have all this money, and my investments have flourished, what I would do then is I would carve out time, and I would make, even if it's an EP, release an EP every so often or whatever it is. I wouldn't go 4 or 5 years without music. I would at least because at the end of the day, that's what my first passion was. If it was hip hop, if I was Nas,
you could be like Wu-Tang, and you'll be making music that he's just not putting out.
I think this one is Papercuts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I've heard the RZA be like, yeah, we got tons of music,
right?
I don't deserve it.
See, I don't like that.
Yeah, I remember, man, like when you're in the struggle, and sometimes people don't want to be there for you. You know what I mean? And some the fans probably suck at times. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I believe that.
So it's like, they're like, oh yeah, last album, like he's probably had a couple people like, yeah, your last album was garbage. You're like, all right, dude, so then you don't need to listen to my music no more. I'm rich. You not. You know?
Right, fair enough.
That's how it would be. That's how I would be like, oh, I'm paid, man. I don't need to make good music no more. I could shit in a bag and sell it to you right now.
That's true.
You won't pay for it, but somebody will.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you haven't played Shaolin Showdown, which is I think came out for the PS1, it's pretty good. It's not that great, but it's good. They made a game.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah, Wu-Tang Shaolin Showdown.
Okay. Yeah.
It's a fighting game, I think.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in similar vein to Def Jam.
Okay.
Vendetta.
That was a good game.
Yeah, hell yeah. People still talk about that game. I feel like people still talk about Def Jam and NBA Street Volume 2 with such praise.
Even NFL Blitz.
NFL Blitz,
that was an amazing game, but they never made another one. You know what I mean? Like, they really never made another NFL Blitz. Like, you get to, you hit somebody, you hurt them. You know, it's not really fucking football. It's just...
I think for NFL Blitz, that was the first time that came out was Dan Marino's last season as a Miami Dolphin.
Oh, okay.
Not too bad. What's really cool with the gift of hindsight is you have Dave Grohl on the drums.
Yeah.
And knowing what we know about Dave Grohl now and how he's basically... I don't know if Nirvana's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
I think they are. I think he's in there twice.
Yeah, but I know Foo Fighters. I'm pretty sure Foo Fighters are in there as well. So,
I think Nirvana is in the whole thing.
I'm pretty sure too.
Like, you can't really
put them in.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. Like, if y'all don't have a man, it's like Eminem at the Grammys. Like, why is he not winning?
Right.
That's why he refuses to go. He's like, I had the best album.
Right.
And he did.
He did.
With the fucking, what's the first album?
I think it was the Marshall Mathers LP.
Yeah, that shit was amazing. So he's like, I didn't win. And then he's like, he'll never go again.
Fair enough. So I could sit next to Carson Daly and Fred Durst and hear them argue over who she gave head to first. Little bitch put me on blast on MTV. Yeah, he's cute. I think he's married to Kim. That was when Napster was out. I don't know if you remember Napster.
Yeah, Napster was it was sketchy though. Because you could try to download a song and it could be like a virus or a movie.
Right.
Something that you completely, because anybody can download the music.
Right.
So like they can put whatever they want in those files.
Mm-hmm.
Once you download it.
Yeah. Napster, LimeWire. If you remember LimeWire, that was just basically herpes for your computer.
Yes. Because this shit would never work the same.
Right. I remember one time I had downloaded LimeWire and I wanted to download, I think it was probably like Goku versus Majin Buu, Kid Buu, and it was porn.
Yeah, so that was a lot of shit too.
They named it Goku versus Majin Buu versus Kid Buu, and come to find out that is just sex.
Yeah.
And I was maybe 13 to 15 at the time.
Yeah.
It's like, I got caught. But that's where the virus comes from. They name it something and it's not that.
Yeah. That's kind of why I think that's why YouTube is so popular, because you're not downloading nothing.
Right.
You're streaming it.
Right.
It's not like it's illegal to download a movie with copyright.
Right.
But if you stream it, it's not considered stealing.
Right. Because it's purchased for the sake of being on a platform.
Yeah.
So it's because they paid to have that.
Mm-hmm. Or even what those apps that like apps and the websites where you could watch a movie for free, pretty much
like Vudu or Tubi.
Like those are considered that's kind of like like pirating.
Yeah.
But since you're streaming it and not downloading it, they don't consider it illegal. You know, like when you break a Fire Stick.
Right.
As long as you don't download that file, you're fine. But if you watch the movie, that's it. You just watch the movie.
Interesting. Yeah. It reminds me of when sports are happening. So in the NBA season, it typically begins in like October.
Yeah.
Preseason will begin like September or something like that. For me, if I purchase NBA League Pass as a Knicks fan, I can't watch some games. Why? Because they're blacked out. Because MSG will play them.
Oh, okay.
Because it's owned by James Dolan. James Dolan also owns MSG, the channel.
Yeah.
So.
Or with the Yankees,
Yankees is owned by Yes.
Yeah.
So in some cases, they sell the rights so that this way you can watch a game on Amazon Prime or something like that. But for the most part, you're watching it on Yes, which is a channel that you can watch in New York.
That you got to pay for.
But you have to pay for, even if you get the app. So for me, I have to find alternative means, but that's streaming. Because what they do is I'm assuming that they have a League Pass of some kind. They purchase it so that website plays the games. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. If you get an ad blocker, you're good to go.
Yeah.
But they stream it. So there's kind of like the problem.
Yeah.
It's the gift and the curse. It's like, well, I'm not really downloading it. I could screen capture it to watch the whole game, but I'd be running into problems because sometimes the site would crash down or the stream would crash, and I'm having to like refresh all the time.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
that sucks.
It is what it is, man. But hey, it beats paying for it
because it's never a reasonable price.
No,
especially not sports.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like boxing, you're paying $30 to watch somebody go down in one fucking round.
In one round. Oh, I could imagine how much money like those Tyson fights were.
Oh yeah,
to go 30 seconds.
Yeah.
30-second fights.
Like the fucking pre-fights had to be badass. You know what I mean? Because once Tyson got up there, like he's just knocking people out.
Yeah, but see, that was the money maker, though. And you're paying for a round, basically. But that round, it's because Mike Tyson was bringing the money in. So that's kind of cool when you think about it. But then, they don't go on until like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
They don't go on until 11:45.
Like 7 o'clock in California, so everybody can watch it.
Yeah. Or even if they're in like Jersey, when they were in Atlantic City, when Atlantic City was popping and stuff like that. In Eastern Standard Time, or what I like to call Ursan Standard Time, that Mike Tyson fight wouldn't have gone on until 11:45. So you're stuck from 8 p.m. to 11 something watching, let's just call them jabronis. Maybe they're not, but jabronis.
Yeah.
I think this one is
Swap
Meet?
Yeah.
We got 2 more songs after this.
Right.
Mr. Mustache and then Sifting.
What about Big Cheese and Downer?
No, because that's a release after. So we're gonna go with what the traditional.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, man. It's crazy because you think about the past and like, damn, life was a lot easier. But it's like life wasn't easier.
No, it's just we look at it with like rosy-colored glasses.
I think it was exactly the same.
It was,
but I think what makes life harder to live, I'll say, is the smartphone.
Okay.
Because now you don't only just deal with what's in front of you.
Right.
You deal with everything because everybody recording something, you know. So like back in those days, like you know, you had a serial killer, say, or fucking or a school shooting. You wouldn't know unless you watched the 10 o'clock news.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But now it's like you're watching it live. You're watching it live. You know, like Kurt Cobain was already depressed. Imagine how much more depressed he would have been with the cell phone.
Right.
You know, he probably would have recorded what he did.
Maybe.
Or fucking put the person who did it. We don't know.
We don't know.
You know.
Suicide.
Yeah, but you never
Not just
know.
the squad.
Nah, but you know, you listen to his music, you're like, it doesn't make it easier to believe that you know like that somebody hurt him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like he was depressed. You know,
He was.
Like he had a documentary on him, and he was dating this girl, and you know he didn't want to work. You know, so he was kind of living off of her. Like she would go to work, and he'd be in her house making music or just painting and getting high. You know, so it's like. You know, it's just he was a talented guy, but he really didn't do nothing. Even as
troubled guy.
Yeah, but even as a celebrity, he really didn't do much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he played his music and he did drugs. You know, even like you seen the shit on was it MTV or VH1, where he had the fucking he played like he did everything a cappella.
That was
acoustic.
MTV Unplugged.
Yeah, he did acoustic. Even there, he was like, yeah, I really don't care. Like you could tell he really didn't care. He's like. You know, this is my song, and so it's like maybe he was playing a part, or maybe he just really was just like, I don't care about the money, you know, just give me my drugs and let me fucking hang out and have fun,
right?
You know.
See, I guess early on, because if you think about it, Nirvana wasn't even really around for that long.
No.
For context, Nirvana was around longer than the Confederacy of the United States. So just to give you guys an understanding. Well, let me just see what sifting sounds like.
This is the Mustache. Was it?
No, we're good. I just want to know what sifting sounds like.
You know,
I think this is Mr. Mustache.
Yeah, it sounds like a Crazy Taxi again.
Yeah, it does sound like Crazy Taxi. What was I saying? Well, for context, yeah. So Nirvana was around longer than the Confederacy of the United States. Mm-hmm. So just for context, so people do understand. At some point early on, he had to have like the enthusiasm of making music and wanting to be out there. He was an artist.
I think he just really wanted to fucking. I think he wanted to have something in him, like feel a certain way. And, and music and art, he probably thought was gonna make him feel that way. Right. And it's that thing, like bittersweet. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's the best way I can say it. It's bittersweet. It's like it's one of those things like you're like I wanna like I'm mad, so I wanna break something. Right. You break something, and then you're cleaning the mess. Right. You know what I mean? And it's like. I feel exactly the same, and now I gotta clean this mess. Right. You know, so I think that's what it was with him. It's just like he was probably super depressed his whole life, and because it does happen.
He was 27 when he died.
In the documentary, he talks about. I think he wrote a book or something. I'm not too sure, right?
They did publish his diary.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was younger, right? He was like 15, I think, or 16. He was hanging out with his friends from school. They cut school. And they went to this like a special girl's house. And, you know, they were messing with her, like
special girl is someone that's mentally disabled.
Yes. Right. So they were like messing, they were touching her and stuff like that. And I think she was having sex. Yeah. And then so they all left. So one day he cut school to go have sex with her. Mm-hmm. And then he was like, "Is this she already knew what it was, you know." And I think he said he didn't. I don't want to quote wrong, but I don't think he did have sex with her. But I think she said something like, "Oh, me and my cousin." He said, "You have done this before," and she's like, "Yeah, all the time with my cousins." Oh, yeah. And then that's when I think he like kicked rocks after that, right? You know? So I think he was really he's really dedicated to losing his virginity, right? So. I feel like it's hard to remember all of it because it was so long ago, but trying to think where I saw the documentary on. Probably HBO or something like that.
Right.
You know.
Right. I do think though, early on, music was probably his coping mechanism.
Yeah.
Now that we have the gift of hindsight.
Yeah.
And they just blew up. You know,
Yeah.
they got very popular. And I think that
because you know, when you hear this music, it's like a lot of people could be like, I feel like that.
Right.
And a lot more people than you would think would say it are like, I feel like that. That's why, you know, that's why you get a black dude listening to him about, like, you know, he's like, damn, that's how I feel, you know?
Right.
Like, that's what I like about, like, rock music. Like,
right.
you know, it's like, they go on, they're singing and they're bantering about how they feel,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Rap too, you know, rap,
Sure.
you know, but rap is more like they're telling you a story. They're telling you their story.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, that story sounds familiar. That sounds like
right.
what I went through. But with rock is like, it's more about feelings. Like, you want to break that glass. You want to scream, you know, but you don't know what to say.
Right.
And they know what to say.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting. Very interesting when you, I guess. And I could be wrong when I say this, but it's one of those cases where be careful what you wish for, because it just might come true.
Yeah.
The enthusiasm early on of, you know,
wanting to be famous,
A, and B, wanting to write music and reaching masses of people. And then you find out you do wind up reaching mass amounts of people. And then you're on MTV. And then you're on all these, like, I don't know if VH1 was around, which I think might be a subsidiary of Viacom. Maybe,
they were around. VH1's been around for pretty long.
But you have this music being played in people's cars too, on TV, concerts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And now you're going from maybe 10 people seeing you to
or 10 or 100 people seeing you.
Or 100 people seeing you
in a small venue.
Mm-hmm.
To doing Madison Square Garden,
right?
Know?
Yeah. So you lose that intimacy, I guess.
Yeah,
and
I think that would get to somebody like him because he's like, nah, I don't like this.
Yeah,
you know,
mm-hmm.
or maybe he did enjoy it, but it's just like I have to do something more now.
Mm-hmm.
Like how long is Teen Spirit gonna fucking last me? You know?
Yeah, because when they do Unplugged for MTV, he did not want to play.
No,
Smells Like Teen Spirit. They wanted him to play it, and he did not want to play it. But there's also
commercial.
Yeah, it's their most commercial song.
Yeah.
You know, not their best song. There's plenty of other songs that are better than that. But it's a popular ass song, and it's their most popular song. When I was first introduced to Nirvana, 14 years old, Smells Like Teen Spirit was the first song. The first album I ever heard was their Greatest Hits album. Because it was like 2003, 2004, or something like that.
Yeah.
There is a funny story about Nirvana. One time, I think they were on a British TV show, and they didn't like people telling them what to do. So,
and they say you can't sing "Rape Me."
You can't sing "Rape Me."
And they sang it.
Yeah, so they sing it, but also.
But he changed the tunes. Like
for Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah.
They wanted them to play Smells Like Teen Spirit. So what they did was, and you see the people in the background dancing and jiving to the song, but it sounds load up on guns. They sounded very different, and they did that on purpose. Yeah. So it's stuff like that is funny to me. Yeah. That he even still had a sense of humor. Yeah. It shows that they're human. Yeah. And he also had I don't know if it's true, but an issue with Axl Rose of Guns N' Roses. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. And I also remember there was one thing, an interviewer asked him, I guess they were on some sort of red carpet or something like that. And he goes, how's fatherhood? And Kurt Cobain goes,
I like vodka.
Yeah, he goes, I love vodka, thank you, or something like that. And that's dark humor. And I guess that's the type of person that he was.
Yeah, I can see it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, funny stuff.
Because it's crazy. Because like somebody like that who's showing you all his pain,
right?
Still kills himself. Then you got Robin Williams, somebody showing you nothing but laughter, and, and then what happens?
Yeah,
he's depressed too.
Yeah, you know? Especially the last bits of his life.
You know, you know, you never know. So like, the best thing to ever do to somebody, even if even if it's like you're like, nah, I doubt they would hurt themselves, is just to ask.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, people, they're not going to tell you. The ones who are going to do it are not going to say nothing.
Yeah.
The ones who are going to do it, did I say that right? I'm fucking a little delusional right now. The ones that are not going to do it will say it. The ones that will do it won't say nothing.
Right.
You know, most of the time, when somebody's always like, say like him, like always down and like, yeah, whatever. And then one day he's happy. And he's like, hey, you want this? And they start giving you things. And they start like, oh, you need anything?
That's the beginning.
It's the beginning because that's them telling you like,
I'm letting go.
I don't need this.
Yeah.
So you could have everything.
Releasing my material possessions is typically the first sign of like releasing, if you will, whatever that means and however that looks.
And they give you that happy feeling because they're like, you know what, maybe it's gonna be better. It's gonna be better.
Right. Cool. So that was Bleach by Nirvana. Serge, what did you think about it?
Yeah, I liked it, man. Another 9. I'd say another 9, you know?
Yeah. I'd say, you know, honestly, 9.5.
Yeah. I just don't want to give anything a 10s, you know?
Fair enough.
So I'm giving it the highest I can give it.
Fair enough.
You know? So.
Fair enough. I like that we had solid conversation that in some way, shape, or form tied into not necessarily the album, but the vibe that it's kind of producing.
That he's trying to give. Yeah. First album, so they're probably still a little enthusiastic. They're like, oh man, this is great. I mean, what would you expect? I mean, like you're getting money, and it's just like, and then you know he's already into drugs, so it's like now I'm getting all these drugs, and who's to say most of the time I wouldn't get it for free? Like, you know, like you meet your celebrity, you know, like you meet a celebrity, you're a big fan. You're like, you know what? Here's all the coke I have, you know, like get high on me, please, you know, because that's, you know,
because then they get the plug, and the plug's like, you know what? Because I can give to you for free, I can now say, oh yeah,
I'm friends with him.
I'm friends with Kurt Cobain, you know.
Yeah, who's this? You know, who doesn't know? You know what I mean? Like you don't know.
You don't know.
Or he fucking just spent all his money. We don't know.
Maybe.
At the end of the day, say no to drugs.
Say no to drugs, kids. And on that note, thank you, folks, for another episode of We Listen to Music and Talk About It.
Yeah.
Thank you, Serge.
Anytime, man. Anytime. I told you, man.
Peace.
Later.